You douchebags went online, pretended to be me on a Vermont Medicaid application. You committed perjury on the questions. You electronically forged my signature, and then you cooked up 2 sets of medical records when I never fill out any new patient paperwork or never signed any consent to treat. You committed crimes against the state of Vermont, and since Paul Dragon was behind that, doctors, nurses, state and government contracted charities, Howard Center, Safe Harbor, aka Community Health Centers of Burlington, and all of your partners in a state university, University of Vermont, and then CVOEO that gets all the taxpayer, that gets grants and God knows what, and you set policy, and Mayor Weinberger's involved. Of course the state police is going to investigate that. You committed crimes against the state of Vermont, and you used my name to do it. So they know you've been doing it in a lot of people's names. They know you've been doing God knows what. So sending people to fuck with me is going to do what for you exactly? Killing me is going to help you how exactly? Because the state of Vermont isn't going to stop investigating how you all went online, pretended to be me, got Vermont Medicaid in my name, and then they had surveillance on my phone, so and Economic Services sent me to you. You think they didn't pull the fucking security video from Economic Services? You think there ain't plenty of people down there that ain't already snitched you out? And you did that to cover Chad's ass, to cover my relative's ass as child sex trafficking pieces of shit, to cover Meredith's ass, and to help Meredith and my mother and my mom and my ex-boyfriend, all of whom are part of Epstein's Iran-Contra's cartel, just different levels. Just like any criminal organization, you got the littler guys that are trying to make their bones. Then you got people that in various tax brackets right up until the head of the family. Or the crime boss, whatever. Sending people to fuck with me isn't going to help you. Discrediting me isn't going to help you. It's only going to make you look more and more guilty because they've got you under surveillance because you committed crimes against the state of Vermont when you did that crap. Oh, thank you. You're going to do what to me now? They heard the courtroom. They heard your Paul Dragon's lawyer talk all that shit. Read my fucking Facebook posts. Admit I'm a whistleblower who got Buffalo City Hall raided. They heard Judge Hoare. They've been watching Autumn Caton and Becky Burrell. And you think I needed to tell them that your idiotic PIs were impersonating victims advocates from Sarah George's office and dropping Bernie Sanders' name and pretending that the mayor sent you? No, they watched you plan that out. They've got surveillance on all your phones too. You gave them the probable cause to do it when you went online, pretended to be me, and got Vermont Medicaid in my name and forged my signature and wrote up 2 sets of medical records when I'm not even your fucking patient. And then falsified all your records at all your various organizations to hide the fact that I'm a domestic violence victim. There's not a goddamn thing I can do to help you. There's nothing any of these idiotic PIs can do to help you. I could arbitrarily go rob a liquor store. That ain't going to help you on that shit. There's not a crime I could commit today that is going to get you off of your charges that you are going to catch because they've had surveillance on all of you because you committed that crime when you went online, pretended to be me, and got Vermont Medicaid in my name. And it's really sad. I don't even have a high school diploma, and I'm having to explain this to PhDs and people with master's degrees. People who work at the University of Vermont, the University of Missouri, the University of Arizona, the University of Buffalo, and every other fucking university in the fucking country, probably in the world. It shows just how small-minded you are, that you can't look at the big fucking picture. It shows what fucking imbeciles you really are. They're mandated to investigate you for that shit. It don't matter whether I have a personal complaint about it or not. I can go down to South Burlington PD and say, I retract my complaint against whoever went online and pretended to be me and got Vermont Medicaid in my name, and they're going to say, and we're still mandated to investigate it because the crimes were actually against the state of Vermont and the federal government and the county of Chittenden and the city of Burlington because they're all our contractors. And if they committed that fraud that way and cooked up 2 sets of medical records when you're not even their fucking patient, what the fuck else they doing to people who are willing, who do go in there and become patients, who do voluntarily get New York or Vermont Medicaid or whatever. And the fact you didn't even do that just to like cover Vermont asses, you did that to cover asses across the globe. Because you were covering for United, that's a global corporation. You were covering for Centene, that's a global corporation. And Catholic Health, Banner, Honor Health, where Virginia G. Piper has a cancer treatment center. She's military elite. She's a DHS supervisor. You were covering for convicted fraudster Rick Scott. You were covering for DeSantis. You were covering for all these cops and feds and Chris Koster, who was the Missouri Attorney General, who's now the Senior VP at Centene Corporation. You were covering for Governor Jay Nixon. You were covering for the Clintons. You were covering for Epstein and Maxwell and all of and Trump and Josh Hawley. And now you got Missouri Attorney General Bailey on it. You just made up a fucking title to get him on at DOJ. You guys have done such amazingly, spectacularly stupid shit that no matter what you do to me, no matter what I do say or don't say, nobody can help you. Because you defrauded all those Medicaid programs, and with United, with Centene, with the idiots here in Vermont, with Joe Parks, with Beth Sweeney, with the UCF president who was the chancellor at Mizzou. Think outside your stupid little molester box for 5 minutes and you'll get it. The state police and Hochul's federal investigators have to investigate what you're doing to me and what you're doing to everybody else, regardless of what I say or don't say, regardless of whether I live or die, regardless of what my parents say or don't say, or Meredith says or don't say, or whatever, not to mention the child sex trafficking and the child porn. And that's another thing they are mandated by law to investigate, whether the fuck you like it or not. And then when you're coming after me, for talking about that. Okay, now you've really given them more probable cause to go after you and everybody who's hiring you and you're working with. Everything you're doing to yourself. You did to yourself. Coming after me is just not wanting to look yourself in the mirror and go, we fucked up when we went online and pretended to be, I got that Vermont Medicaid in her name and then made sure Green Mountain Care awarded it. And then we cooked up 2 sets of medical records when she's not even our fucking patient. We had no signed consent to treat and no new patient paperwork. Oh, and sent all these idiots to fuck with her who bragged about working for us. That's another reason why everybody who's talking about the Epstein case is talking about how you're such fucking idiots. And they're showing, they're highlighting all the idiotic, stupid shit you do. And you're idiots because you've surrounded yourself with people who kiss your ass and tell you what the fuck you want to hear. Nobody's ever called you out on your shit. So you can't handle it when somebody does. You think whoever does is the enemy. I ain't no state police. I don't have the power to tell the state police not to investigate you after you went online, pretended to be and committed perjury on a Vermont Medicaid application and forged my signature and cooked up 2 sets of falsified records when I'm not your patient and you don't have a signed consent to treat. I can't tell Hochul's investigators not to investigate when you defrauded New York Medicaid of God knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars and then millions with United and Centene Corporation and Catholic Health and all the other bogus tax-exempt charities before that, all of whom are stealing from the taxpayers. There's nothing I can tell them or not tell them that's going to help you. There's nothing your little snitches can say about me that's going to help you.